our show, From Days to Years. From Days to Years is an open letter from moms to moms. We're going to talk about our successes and seemingly our failures. Because do we fail? No. But we put a lot of guilt on ourselves for the decisions that we make that affect our lives. So we want to go from guilt to grace and from fear to faith. I'm here with my awesome co-host, Heather.
Hi.
And she's going to introduce our show and our guest.
And this is Chelsea.
Yep.
Hello.
So, Chelsea,
tell us a little bit about yourself.
We are a new family to Florida. We've been here a little over 2 years, and I have 2 young children, or I wish they were younger, 7 and 10, and I live with them as well as my wonderful husband and my fluffy dog. And yeah, my husband and I have been married for going on 13 years and together for almost 20. And yeah, we are thriving in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, nice.
But you're a transplant like anyone.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm a
most
transplant.
people in Florida,
I'm a
right?
re-transplant.
A retransplant.
Well, I was born here and lived here and then moved for many moons.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I left Florida when I was 12.
Oh, wow.
And then lived everywhere, and now I'm back.
Well, that's
in
cool.
my 40s.
I'm
late
glad you're
40s.
back. We wouldn't
Late
be able to
40s.
do this podcast without
That's
you.
right.
So I want to know, how did you get started? Because first of all, what was your occupation, or what are you taking a balance? How did you balance your life, and why are you balancing now? What were you doing before to get you to this point? And we're going to talk about how you stopped doing what you were doing before to get that balance.
So really, I started personal chefing when I moved to Florida. Never had done anything like that. I always worked in the hospitality industry for a long time. I branched out when I got into my 20s. I did some different things, billing and dental offices. Nothing really career focused, but I've always been a huge fan of food. Like super passionate about it, self-taught chef. I've loved it. So when I moved to Florida, I just did my normal thing. I'd make us a meal every night, and then I have some really good friends in my neighborhood that I've become close with. So on occasion, if I'd make like a huge pot of soup, I'd take my neighbors, like a bowl.
You're being a good neighbor.
Yeah, and just sharing. My friend's, really busy with work, and she has a little one, so I'd say, I'll take her some soup. Well, it kind of spiraled out of control. Because she was
Free food,
like,
wouldn't spiral
she's
out of
like,
control.
well, you're such a great cook, and I don't have time to do it. So the balance wasn't necessarily there for her. I'm very regimented. Dinner's always at the same time.
Wow,
so
nice.
She's like, why don't
is your dinner
I?
always at the same time?
No.
Okay, I just want to ask
And
that.
sometimes it falls apart before it's done.
Okay, I just want to know.
Hey,
It's my-
But I have a bowl
We
of
all
cereal.
have our strengths and strong suits here, right? No, so she kind of, I guess, positioned it as like, why don't you cook for my family and I'll pay you? So we talked about it for a while, back and forth, and how it could work, and delivery and timing
Great
and all of
idea.
that.
I know, right? We need that.
So it really started out of like just, friendship and trying to help her out. It was
Yeah.
kind of a works for both of us, let's do it. So I did it for over a year.
For just the one person?
Wow.
For the one family, a family of 3. And on their occasion, there would be guests, so there would be 4. I'd be cooking for 8, so my family of 4 and her family of 4.
Okay.
And then, it was great. It was smooth. However, yes,
There's
and
always a but.
I bake on the side. I run a cottage foods operation.
Wait,
And
what does cottage foods mean?
So essentially in Florida, in order to bake out of your house without being licensed, you can run what's called a cottage foods operation. So you don't have to have inspections by the state. It's
Really?
basically like a small in-home run food production.
Okay.
And bakery things is usually okay. You usually disclose the nutritional information and whatnot to kind of make it legit.
And these are, you baked us some things today, which
Yeah.
we're going to get into later on.
Yeah. There,
I'm
right
gonna
here
eat
is just some little treats that I did, gift boxes for the teachers, for my kids, as well as some other moms who ordered them.
Nice.
Cute little cupcakes. They're a pumpkin pie cupcake with a
No, I'm
maple and
We should show
toasted
them. We should show
pecan
this. Let's show
buttercream.
this. This is that.
Yep,
we
this
should
is
show
the
this.
little
I should show
little
this.
cupcake. They've been, in a box and out.
Wait,
so.
Heather, we should taste these.
right now. Yeah. Okay.
And then the top one is a pumpkin cheesecake with a caramel, and it's on a ginger snap crust. So anyways, the baking I still do because it's kind of easier for me to pick and choose when I want to take on a cake or 2 in a week.
Yes.
And
So
then
you were baking for one family for a year.
I was cooking, yes.
Cooking
so
for
the
them.
baking I still do.
You still do.
The cooking I kind of have recently shut down, and
Wait, so, but how long were you doing the cooking before you shut down?
a year and 2 months.
So
14
Every
months.
night, actually Monday through Thursday was the meals.
And
I
how many
did-
families were you doing at that time?
Just for one.
Just the one,
And I
okay.
had the option to do two, but I was kind of, the reason for the shutdown is, you go through different seasons in life. And
Right.
my children are, like I said, 7 and 10. They're really kind of diving heavily into sports now.
It's hard.
So it's.
I have a baseball.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
my daughter's softball, my son's baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets a little tricky when they both have 2 practices a week or a practice in a game. Basically, it was becoming near impossible to make it work because I serve the food fresh. So I get home from school at 4. I generally
Picking them up from school.
picking them up,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Pick them up, take them home, unpack the things, go through that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm supposed to deliver dinner at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
and feed us around 6:15.
Your family at 6:15, and you go over there at 6 o'clock.
Well, she's 4 doors down, so I would walk the meals down,
Oh.
deliver them hot and fresh.
Yeah.
But when we have to be at practice at 5:30,
It's impossible.
it becomes like it's giving me like 45 minutes to make this like full-on meal balanced with vegetables, a starch, a protein, and a soup or a salad, like down the street,
Yeah.
packaged up.
Wow.
It just
Yeah.
got a little crazy.
Yeah. I was
and
gonna say, when you said you eat at 6:15, like,
Yeah.
oh, but sometimes we have practice at 5:30.
Right.
And that's when our meals fall apart, because I'll have a great idea, and then it's like, well, I'm not gonna get home until like 7.
Yeah.
So that's when it becomes like, oh, you really wanted cereal, so guess what? It's a cereal night.
know, and
Congratulations.
in trying to be like, I always want to put my family first.
Yeah.
And not take on something that, is making me sacrifice like
Right.
my time with them
Right.
in lieu of, I just think that the importance right now is they're little, they need my help,
Right.
they need my guidance, they need me available.
Right.
And I can't even imagine, the school is great, they don't have homework per se, but reading in the classes that we've been in so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine if they had homework.
So-
Trying to do,
As a
know?
mom of a high schooler who used to play softball,
Yeah.
she gave it up because of homework,
yeah.
because it was just too hard.
How did you get to that point, though? Because sometimes for me, I like doing lots of different things. So, like,
Yes.
I'm on the PTO board, I'm a Girl Scout troop leader. We decided to start a podcast, yada, yada, yada. I always like doing projects. I love it. But I also like, because I'm putting my family first.
Right.
And my husband sometimes will say, Angie, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
You need to stop. So was it you, your husband? Was it your kids? Was it someone else? Who told you, hey, Chelsea, you might want to just, is this working?
The suggestion might have been there.
When she said
but,
suggestion, doesn't sound like it was.
I love my husband. He's a wonderful man.
They
And
all
he
are.
is very balanced.
Yes.
He's trying to be in his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's the reason I have the ability to be with my children
Right.
right
Yes,
now.
yes. Yeah.
So I respect his work. I don't.
Yeah.
But, he's like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to put the foot. But I can see where he's coming from, and being able to open my own eyes to it sometimes is like, wow.
It's hard,
Like,
yeah.
he's like, you don't need to do this. You're stressing out sometimes. You
Right.
don't need it.
If you
know?
if something that you used to love doing is now stressing you out, why are you still doing
Right.
it? Yeah.
And like I said, there's a season for everything.
there is a
and
season for-
I
I
have
do.
these lovely neighbors who are like, just let us know when you want to cook again. And I got another family who's like, well, we want it. And I'm like, well, I'm not sure about that
Yeah.
right now. I'll keep you posted.
I need a little break.
During the holidays right now, we're going to shut it
Yeah,
down.
you've gotta shut
I got to
down during the
revisit
holidays.
that after
Too much.
sports has chilled out and see what we're
Well,
doing
your
next.
baseball season starts right back up again.
I know, and so does softball.
This is the downside
the-
to living in baseball. Living in Florida, because we came from north.
Yes,
and
so did
baseball
we.
is a spring sport.
Yep,
and
it
down
is.
here, it's almost year round.
Yes, because you have fall ball,
Fall
which we're
ball,
ending.
which was
And,
never a thing where I came from.
Right,
No.
right.
So for you, the transition was a good one, and that your husband said, I think you need to take a little bit of a break because he cared about you, cared about the family, cared about your mental
Well-being,
mental
yeah.
well-being,
Yeah.
because the stress of being because sometimes people don't appreciate stay-at-home moms that we do a lot. We're not
Yes.
just sitting back like Peg Bundy eating bonbons and drinking
Exactly.
coffee. Although I do have those moments, okay? But
Sometimes you need that.
and sometimes you need that.
Everyone does.
And even
does.
We're humans.
moms who go into the office need those moments.
You do.
Yes.
Yes.
But he said, you just maybe take a break. You decided to do that, and you were able to step back, and your customers were understanding. But for you, did you feel like a piece of you was like it's still missing? Because sometimes as a stay-at-home mom, at least not so much now because I'm involved in lots of different things, but sometimes I feel like the gifts and abilities and talents that I have, I'm not able to pursue them as much
Right.
because I have a full-time responsibility. It's a lot easier now because our kid is she's 8 years old,
Bigger.
and she can make her own peanut
She's
butter
more
and jelly
capable.
sandwich.
She's more capable.
Yeah.
But
Right.
did you feel like you were missing a piece of yourself because you weren't able to do the cooking, or?
So it's certainly strange, because it was just like it became repetition. I go home, and not to mention part of the day, well, there's a day of planning, menu planning.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into it to make it
Shopping.
smooth,
Yeah.
There's
Prep.
preparations that I do when I can during the day to kind of take off some of the time in the evening when I'm actually, so, it definitely felt really weird when I stopped doing it.
Because this was a cold turkey. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna cook
And then,
2 days a week. It was just none.
And then my husband, he's taken a new job, so it's a bunch of different new seasons for us,
Right.
So he's traveling a lot.
Yeah.
But with that travel is like, last night, for instance, we went to skate night. And I was like,
You couldn't have done that before.
I'm not gonna cook anything.
You can just
I'm gonna order food.
Right. Yeah. There was like these little moments, like I'm with you. I'm totally with you because where we lived so far out that it was this big deal when Uber Eats came into
yeah.
town, but it took them an hour to bring us our food, so it was cold. Oh
Right.
yeah, we can now get Papa John's delivered to our house, but it's cold because they're an hour away.
Right.
And so living here now, it's this whole big treat. Like, oh, we don't even have to use Uber Eats for Papa John's; they'll just bring it to me.
Right.
Or I can go and get it. I mean, like, there's all these options living
Right.
here. But no, I mean, I have the same thing. My husband travels a lot, and he does not like eating out during the week. So when he's gone, the kids are like, "Ooh, so where are we eating?" Like they immediately go,
Right.
"Where's food coming
Right.
from tonight?"
Yeah,
And I'm like, "We're not."
My children have recently just been like, what are we going to eat? Because before
You were cooking.
there
You were
was a
cooking.
whole meal plan. Like I had it written down. This is what you're eating, and if you don't like it, maybe you can have a peanut butter and jelly tonight,
but that's
or
your
maybe you can
option.
have a piece of chicken. But it's crazy because he wanted that for me though. He's
Yeah.
like, when you have sports, why are you
Right.
making us eat at 5:00?
And then you're starving
and
at
then so when we
9.
get home we have to eat again. If you weren't cooking like this or chefing,
Yeah.
we would just eat when we got home or eat
Right.
when we're hungry or
Yeah.
Right.
pick up some chips in the car.
I quickly moved to that before we moved here because I was just like, it was like on game nights. It was Jersey. I mean, I hate to say Jersey Mike's because I could order it on my phone.
Yeah.
When I was going to pick it up, and then we could take whoever was playing could eat it in the car because
Right.
the sandwich is easy to eat in the car, and then I would eat it at the game.
Right.
And it was just easy. It was so easy. And then eventually we're like, we're done with sandwiches. But what
I
else can
know.
you do?
It's
I
hard.
know.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's really hard to figure
It's
out.
a hard, like you said, it's seasons because
It is.
my kids are slightly older, and I still have moments of, well, I miss when they needed me just a tad more.
Right.
But now I'm at that season though where I'm ready to go back to work.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to give up my time with my kids,
Trying
and
to
I
find a
don't
balance.
want to be a teacher because that's just not my personality. I can do it occasionally, but I can't. That's not who I am.
Right.
But I don't want to give up my summers. I love being with my kids.
So part of your balanced was
Yeah.
when someone pointed out to you, because again, my husband points things out to me too when I take on too much.
Yeah.
So you listened to him because you guys have a good relationship, which is awesome. And you said, okay, I'm going to take a step back, and you did a cold turkey, and you were able to do that. And then all of a sudden, you're like, wait, all of this is opening up now. I'm able to enjoy more time with my family. We can do this ordering things, which gives us some balance and flexibility, in our
Yes.
eating schedule.
Right.
And the other family was okay with y'all saying, okay, that's fine too. We
I
can
gave
take
her
a
a
step.
month's notice.
You give a month, which is beautiful. Which is beautiful. A month for you. Listen, you're going to be on your own. You
You're
gotta
gonna
do
start
Uber Eats thing,
planning
babe.
again.
Mentally
And one
prepare
month. Yeah,
yourself
yeah.
for this.
But another thing I was just like, this is a side note, is maybe you could just do meal planning.
Yeah.
That would be an option too.
Yeah.
But so you didn't have like this, because my thing is like when I,
'Cause that's hard
again,
for me.
being the fulfilled part, like as a stay-at-home mom, or
Yeah,
do you
it's hard.
still feel like you're able to use your gifts and talents, or is that
No,
where your baking comes in?
Definitely not. But I think this is why I can't stop the baking. And the baking is, it's not necessarily the most lucrative thing. You have to do a lot of cakes a week to make it make money. If we're talking in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really an expression of my creativity, and it's still showcase. Like I can still show people crafty desserts, not just like your basic vanilla cupcake.
Yeah.
It's really fun for me.
So talk about this one, because you're talking about crafty
This
desserts,
one
and you were
is
telling
really
us about
fun.
this.
This is delicious. by
So
the
it's
way.
different. It's a little bar that I made, and it's essentially 3 pies in one. It's just a short crust, and it has a layer of pumpkin pie filling. It has like dehydrated apples that I reconstituted with some apple cider,
Wow.
and then it has a pecan pie topping almost.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very
very
sweet.
good. It's very good.
It's very sweet, but it's yummy. You know,
But it's
something
not too
different.
sweet.
Something
It's
different.
different. Yeah, I've never had anything. I think it's amazing.
And you
It's
know,
like-
I'm always on looking for inspiration. I'm always on, Pinterest, looking at different bars and saying, I'm going to mix this with that and see how it, goes, or use my own, so it's very much creative freedom for me.
So you're able to find that outlet. You're able to find a way to, I don't want to say pacify, but at least,
Yeah,
some also pacification.
supplement my my urge to
Yeah.
put good things to eat out there.
Right. No, I think
And your
that's
creativity
amazing.
and feeling
Yes.
being fulfilled, because I really think that's a big thing, being fulfilled as a mom. You're not just someone who picks up kids and, wipes noses, or back in the day,
Yeah.
wipe butts. There are gifts and talents that we all have, and you're able to at least still get a small part of that until maybe the kids get a little older.
The season
Yeah.
changes
The
again.
season
Yep.
changes.
Sure.
Because it really is, it's about balance. That's what we're talking to Chelsea about, finding that balance. How do we do that? Because sometimes, I'm telling you, when Izzy was younger, I really felt, because my degree used to be engineering, okay? It was not an easy degree to get, but it's not a hard degree to get either. But you have to have some kind of mental something in there. And so you go after this degree, you're there for 4 years, you get it, you use it, you get married. And in our case, I stayed at home with Izzy, which I think most of us here in this room did or are
For the
doing
most
now.
part, yeah.
But sometimes you feel like there's a loss there. There's a loss in who you are.
Oh no, there totally, definitely is.
So
Definitely is.
trying to find that balance and finding a way to fulfill that.
Right.
And I hope that other moms are able to do that, because
Yes.
you are loved, you are valued, you are appreciated, and how do we fill that void?
Yes.
It's true.
So I love your desserts, and I love that you're doing
So
that.
good.
And just the chefing for the neighbor, it opened my eyes to other things. I catered a really big New Year's Eve soiree where I did like this huge charcuterie board, and like it was super fun, and they were friends. So it's really fun. Food is my passion.
Yeah.
I don't think food should be eaten alone.
No.
I love food. I think it's like the center of my home, if I could tell you.
Your kitchen is like that.
Totally.
Yeah.
And whenever we have friends over to gather, we just stand around the island,
Yeah.
and I just gonna put things out there, eat it.
Yeah.
It's
Nope,
just,
yeah.
food is
I love that.
life. I love food. Not because I want to overeat it, because I think it just brings
I
conversation.
want to overeat it.
Yeah.
It's just the best conversation, starters, and
What is it? Food is your love language.
yeah, I
Somebody
would say
once-
for
I had
sure.
we used to say that about another friend. That was her, because if you showed up unannounced, she was just like,
Let's have something to eat.
she's like, I've got food. And I'm like, I'm just here for 10 minutes. It's
Let's just have some
okay.
cheese and crackers. Come on.
I've got some mixed nuts.
I've got a
spray
cheesecake
cheese.
in the
I'm gonna
fridge.
make
This is
some
me.
cheese.
I've got a cheesecake in the fridge. Let's eat it.
And I'd be like, where's my fork? We don't even
Would you
need
like a
plates.
cupcake?
I'm not
Let me
picky.
defrost something. Hold on.
Exactly.
But
I
it's
love that.
fun.
Yes.
It is fun.
I know, I love
and I'm
that.
glad you found your balance. We're all finding our balance. Like you said, y'all said there are seasons, and you
There
have
are
to keep
seasons.
finding that balance over and over again sometimes.
No,
'Cause things
Chelsea
change.
said it, and I was just like, that's it. That's what this is.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm coming towards the end of my season.
Yeah, your kids are older.
My kids are older, and I don't want it to end. It's like summer. I don't
It's
want
kinda
summer
sad,
to
yeah.
end. Please don't let summer end.
But the next season will be beautiful too.
Next season will be
because
beautiful
it will
because then
be-
they're going to be off at college, and I can be an empty nester and do whatever I want to do whenever I want to, and not worry about school schedules.
But then they'll need you in different ways.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I
moral
don't
support.
know if my daughter will.
Yeah, I'm
She was
sure.
born a 65-year-old woman. She's counting down to retirement already.
Oh, that's
I
great.
have one more question, and I know we're gonna have to wrap up soon, and I love talking to the ladies and eating. It's like my favorite thing. It's like, what do you do?
What's better, eating and talking?
Like, eating and talking. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. So if you had to give, I don't want to say one word, or if you had to give a phrase or a sentence to other moms that are, okay, I want to do something to help fulfill this desire I have in me to do something, whether it's baking or personal chefing or meal planning or whatever is for other people, what advice would you give them? And it doesn't have to be one word or one phrase. It could be several of them. But what would you tell them?
I would definitely tell a mom who's looking to find her, niche, to dig deep and find out what you're passionate about. Like, there's got to be something in each of us that we really like. And for some women, it might be, I really love flowers. Well, you know, you can make floral arrangements and sell them in your neighborhood if it gives you some little outlet of like, you're doing something that's meaningful to someone else.
Yeah.
You know, even if you're not selling them, even if it's something, just a side hobby. I don't know, dig deep and find something that you really enjoy. And that could be creating a clothes swap for, you know, families in a neighborhood, because there's a whole bunch of little children. There's got to be, you know, but there's something to having purpose, for sure. Like, but balance is very important. Having too much purpose, you know, I don't know. I get the same. I'm like a 10 project kind of lady. I'm like all over the place, man. Like, did you finish the you know, the tiling? I'm like, oh. No, but I have good intentions.
You see the meme when you drop the kids off at school, like, okay, I'm gonna do laundry day. You could start to do the laundry.
Yeah.
Get the laundry
Squirrel.
out. Squirrel. It's like, wait, the shelf. I need to organize the shelf because I can't reach it. So you organize the shelf. Wait, it's lunchtime. Let me go make lunch. And then by the time you pick the kids up, the laundry's not done, the shelf isn't done, but you ate lunch.
You had lunch.
And that was it.
Sometimes that's important, though.
Well, you have good intentions.
You have good
Yes.
intentions.
I'm not like a scatterbrain to that.
No, you're not a scatterbrain.
No.
But it's
But
like
it's-
you get busy and then you know,
Right.
you got passions and jobs.
Yes.
Love that.
That's where the balance is important.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, I can take a little break. Make sure I'm doing all my duties first before I'm doing things that I don't need to be doing, that I enjoy doing, but might not necessarily be necessary right now.
That makes sense.
Smart. Yes.
Making sure we're doing the things that are necessary, but not doing the things that don't really fit into our priorities. Making sure we have balance. So today we're talking to Chelsea, and we did talk to Chelsea. We did talk to Chelsea about finding balance, making sure you understand your purpose, and that can change. Like the lady said, there are seasons to this.
Yes.
You can't beat yourself up because you're in one season, you want to be in another season. You can't beat yourself up because you had to stop doing one thing and go on another. It's a season. And just understanding that, being able to relate to it, making sure you have a good supportive spouse or a partner, or if it's just you by yourself as a mom, you know, you need to make sure you have a support network to be able to help you find that balance so that you don't lose who you are and lose your family in the process. So I want to say thank you to Chelsea. And of course,
Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you for having me. It was super fun.
And please follow us on our social media feeds. We are on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and our website.
from daystoyears.com. Please join the forum. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what other guests you'd like to see, what other things you'd like Heather and I to talk about. I know we have some fun things coming up.
Songs
soon.
you want us to TikTok to, maybe.
Oh my God, yes.
Again, all Angela's ideas here. I just follow along.
But we're so happy you're here, and we'll see you on our next program from Days to Years.
Goodbye.
Thank you.